Hey everyone, in this video we'll be talking about usestrict, one of the 4 components provided by React. We briefly touched upon usestrict in one of my previous video on why you should avoid passing inline functions in React. Yeah, if you have not already watched that, I recommend you to watch that. I have also written a Medium article about it. It's definitely a must read for you to get some good insight on what's wrong with passing an inline function as an argument. Yeah, so now let's get started with usestrict. So to understand this better, let's create a small this code sandbox repo. I have this repo with template code provided by code sandbox. Here let's see what happens. If you go to the index.js file, you'll see that there is strict mode enabled by default. So strict mode is like any other component, you can use it to wrap your component in it. So in this case we have wrapped the entire app component. Let's go to the app component, we have this, and let's put a console because we want to see how many times this component is getting rendered. App got rendered. Now let's save it and refresh it. You'll see that the app got rendered twice. Now let's put an effect, use effect, and even here I just want to see how many times this is getting rendered. Effect got called, and I'll give empty dependency because I want it to be run only during the mounting phase. Now let's run this. We see that app is also getting rendered twice, effect also is getting called twice. Now if I remove this strict mode, let's see what happens. See, app got rendered once, effect got called once. Now let's see the reason behind this. So usestrict, similar to strict mode in JavaScript, this component helps you find bugs early during development. So the intention behind usestrict is to find bugs early during development. This is development only feature, which you can, if you want, enable it on the production, but it's highly recommended not to, and by default it's not enabled. Second, you can wrap any of your component in usestrict. It's preferred to wrap your app component so that you can check all the components. And there are basically 3 features enabled by usestrict. These are: 1, re-render the component, and second is rerun the effects, and third is check for the uses of any deprecated API. So we have already seen here in this example, with strict mode enabled, our component was getting rendered twice and also the effect was being called. Yeah, let's go through each of this in detail. So first, why re-render an extra time? So here it has written that React assumes that every component you write is a pure function. So pure function, what is the definition of pure function? Is that whatever input you give, the function will always give you provide the same output no matter how many times you call. So basically what React is trying to do here is the output that it gets on the first render should always be the same, considering that no input has changed. It should always be the same no matter how many times it's been called. But if it's not, then it gives you warning. So let's try to understand why it runs use effect twice during the development. We know use effect has 2 parts. One is the setup code that gets called during the mounting phase, and there is a cleanup code that gets called during the unmounting phase, right? So let's see the example that they have provided here. There is a component called app.js. Here there is an use effect which makes a connection, create connection. It has a server URL and it has a room ID which is hard coded right now, it's general, and you are doing connection.connect, right? So this is very simple. You are able to make a connection to general and the active connection is 1. Till now the issue is not obvious. What is the problem with this code? Now here as we go further, in this case, now here instead of having hard coded room ID, we have a drop down for that. Now if we follow the same code, provide room ID as dependency, let's see what happens. As I open chat for general, I'm able to connect to it. There is an active connection. Now if I change it to travel, there are 2 active connections, whereas it should have been only 1 for travel. If I change it to music, there are 3 active connections, right? Why is that happening? Because we have not disconnected this connection. There is no cleanup. So this is an issue which is not quite obvious during the development. Now let's see how we can clear this. So now if you see here, we have disconnected the connection every time it has this cleanup code, right? Every time the room ID changes, this cleanup gets connected. Now let's see what happens. I have a general, I open it, there is an active connection 1, Now I change it to travel, and again there is only one active connection. This is what we intended to achieve. So this is a very subtle issue that it's not very visible to the while the development, but it can cause a serious impact in the production. So this is again a good thing to enable your strict mode in development. And the third one is to warn you against the usage of any deprecated APIs. Like if you have used find DOM node or unsafe methods, unsafe APIs, it will warn you against the usage of those. So this is all about the strict mode. So strict mode is one of the four default components provided by React. We'll be talking more about other components like fragment, profiler, suspense in upcoming videos. I hope you like the video. Like and follow if you want me to continue making such content. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.